A map looks like a numbered list, which is exactly the trap. Numbered lists make the eye scan for steps and tick them off in order, like a recipe. That works for recipes. Flour, then water, then knead. It does not work for founding a coaching practice because the steps in the map have prerequisites that bind tighter than the numbers, and they have parallel work opportunities that the numbers hide. Read the map as a graph instead. The number is a recommendation. The prerequisites are the binding constraint. That single shift in how you read the map is what determines whether the founding work compresses into a few focused weeks or stretches across 6 months of stop-start. 6 maps in this module, and every one of them is built the same way. A numbered sequence of steps. Each step points to 1 or 2 topical lessons in modules 2 through 19. Each step lists what must complete before it and what can happen alongside it. The numbers tell you the order things tend to happen in. The dependencies tell you why. Read the dependencies first, then walk the numbers in the recommended order, and you have a graph dressed up as a list, which is exactly what a map is. The numbers and the dependencies are different things, and confusing them is the most common founding mistake. EIN application takes 10 minutes online once the LLC is formed. The bank account requires the EIN letter to open the business checking. So bank account opening is sequentially after EIN. But the bank also asks for the operating agreement, the founder's ID, and the business mailing address, none of which require the EIN to gather. You can pull those documents while the EIN is processing. The map flags that explicitly with a parallel work marker, sequential where the dependencies require, parallel where the dependencies allow. Reading both gets you to the bank appointment on the same day as the EIN instead of the week after. 3 patterns catch first-time founders, and the map flags every one of them in advance. First, steps that look optional but are not. The operating agreement for a single-member LLC is the example everyone trips on, because legally you don't have to file it anywhere. But the corporate veil depends on it, and most business banks now require it before opening a business account. Second, steps with hard external deadlines. Form 2553 for S-corp election has a 75-day window from formation. Miss the window and you wait a full tax year. Third, steps that flag pro engagement explicitly. Engage pro. See Module 3.x. That marker tells you which pro and when. Operating agreement for a single-member LLC is the most common looks optional trap. The first instinct is to skip it. Nobody's going to sue me. I'm the only owner. No other members to write the agreement for. The veil is what gets ignored in that thinking. The operating agreement is what holds the corporate veil in place. Without one, a creditor or a plaintiff has a clean argument that the LLC is a sham and the founder's personal assets are on the hook, required even when single member. And many business banks won't open the account without seeing the document on file. Looks optional. Is not. Form 2553 has a hard external deadline, and the cost of missing it is 1 full tax year. S-corp election runs through Form 2553. The election window is 75 days from formation, with a separate retroactive option that closes on March 15th of the current tax year. Miss both windows and you wait until next year to elect, which means a full year of self-employment tax that an S-corp election would have eliminated on the portion of income above reasonable salary. For a $130,000 practice, the difference can be $5,000 to $7,000 in 1 year. The map flags this on the entity decision step so the deadline is visible before the 75 days starts running. Pro-engagement steps are flagged with the Module 3 unit that teaches you how to evaluate them. The map doesn't just tell you to hire a bookkeeper, it tells you to hire a bookkeeper and points you at Module 3.2, which is the lesson that teaches you what to look for, what questions to ask, what red flags to listen for, and what an engagement letter from a bookkeeper actually should contain. Same pattern for CPA at Module 3.3, attorney at Module 3.4, insurance broker at Module 3.5, fiduciary at Module 13.10. The map tells you which pros you need and when. Module 3 teaches you how to evaluate them so you hire the right one. Open the default map PDF and mark your status on the first 10 steps. For each step, haven't started, in progress, or done. If you've already done some, for example, you already have an EN from a prior side gig and never used it, mark that one done and skip ahead. The map respects what you've built. The lowest numbered step that isn't done is your current step. Watch the topical lesson it points to next. The marking exercise is also how you discover the parallel work pairs in your situation. 2 steps both showing in progress and pointing to non-overlapping pros usually means you can run them on the same afternoon.